I bet you weren't expecting to see me again so soon. Well, here we are. And I got some movie pickups that I wanted to share with you guys, as well as some tips on, how to go about it in this day and age, how to work your collection up, build it up from either scratch or from what you already have. Now, I know it just depends on the format. Obviously, it's going to be harder to find VHS and Laserdisc, and I keep waiting for a good score, but I see lots of people finding them like just randomly, and I'm like, hey, good for you. Um, but if you're collecting like DVD, Blu-ray, it's obviously going to be a little easier. And I got some helpful tips for you to, help increase your collection. But it also helps to have friends that know you're into horror. And I have one that, man, I'm telling you, like, practically all my horror movies, this dude just literally gave me. This dude is freaking the champion of all time. And like a week or so ago, I went over and was hanging out with him, and he just randomly was like, "Hey, I still have some horror movies left. Did I give you these?" And I was like, no." So, dude just literally gives me the Zombie Widescreen Collector's Edition on VHS. These were released by Anchor Bay. Also got the Evil Dead 2 Widescreen Collector's Edition. And then, of course, the widescreen collector's edition of Day of the Dead. Three absolute bangers of movies. Do I already have them? Of course I do. Do I want extra variants of them? Of course I do. Um, so I was really happy to add those to my collection. And then around the same time that week, I was venturing out and I found a little shop that I didn't know existed because I hadn't been on that side of town in a while. And what caught my eye as I was driving past this small little building, I saw a George the Jungle poster, and I'm like, what? And then I kind of see in the window as I'm passing by, and I'm like, are those VHS? So I turn around, I go park, and I go inside. This dude has a bunch of the old family video racks like I do, and they're just filled with tapes. And I'm like, I'm about to spend a lot of money. Thankfully, though, I didn't really spend too much money. That's where I got the Faces of Death box set, and I also got a really, really cool collector's edition of Nightmare Before Christmas on Laserdisc. That one is very, very nice. Of course, I collect other types of movies. What do you think? I'm just some horror creep? Mainly. But so I was like, hey, I'm going to keep this guy in mind because this guy did fantastic customer service with me and had the freaking Faces of Death box set. Got me that for a great deal. So I was like, hey, I'm going to go back in. And I told this guy, hey, I'm going to bring you some of my extra goods, stuff that I've been trying to sell, get rid of. And that's my first tip right there is if you find a local shop that's willing to buy or even better, do store credit, which is kind of what this guy was saying because he's a new business. Obviously, he doesn't have cash flowing out the ass to just hand out for some extra DVDs and stuff. So I said, hey, I'll take store credit if you got it, or we'll work a trade because I saw a lot of different things there that I wanted. And he said, sure. And sure enough, when I went back, I had a stack of stuff. I brought it in and I said, look, probably not gonna get a ton for this, but let me look around. I grabbed the stuff I wanted. He honestly wanted to give some stuff back. He's like, I don't feel comfortable taking this because I think this might be worth a little bit more. And since he was honest with me, I was honest with him. And one of the tapes that I had picked out didn't have a price on it, but I knew I was like, he can sell this for a lot. So I said, hey, you might want to keep this Night of the Demons. That goes for a pretty penny. I wouldn't feel right, kind of scamming that out of you when the tapes that I've got are more than worth it to me. So we did literally a trade for trade, and we both walked away from that happy. So that's one thing I got to say is if you can find someone locally or some sort of store where you can make a deal that kind of makes both of you happy, go for it because it helps the business out and it helps you as a collector out get some stuff that you want, trading some stuff that you don't necessarily need anymore. Now, I know there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, I'm still collecting. I'm going to keep all this stuff." and that's fine. I get it. Teach their own. But right now, I'm trying to build my horror collection up. I mean, it's pretty big right now, but I feel like I can get that a little up here. At least mainly with the VHS side, because I have a lot of good VHS. Don't get me wrong, I'm very happy with what I have, but there's so many cool tapes out there, and I'm just like, man, it'd be so great to just fill this rack. Like, I'd love to get them all sideways. That's how many I have, just bursting at the seams. So with that in mind, I traded most of the stuff for some more VHS horror movies. I did get some other types of movies, but we're focusing on the horror only. So first off, I found The Howling 2. My sister is a werewolf. This movie's ridiculous, but actually the copy he had, the case was all messed up and stuff, and I was like, man, I wish you had a better copy of this because I really kind of want to add this to my stack. And he says, hey, hold on. He goes into the back, boom, brings out this beautiful, beautiful copy. Now, I don't have any of the other Halloween movies on VHS. Honestly, if I could just get the first three, I think that would be good enough. Because I've seen Halloween 1. I haven't watched this yet. I've heard great things about it. I plan on watching it. I'm waiting until I get the Halloween 4. That's the one I'm missing. And then whatever comes after part 5 or 6. I don't know how many there are. There's a lot. But I do like the cover for the Howling Part 3, The Marsupials. Is that what it's called? Maybe? I have it over there. I'm not going to grab it. But anyways, I got this banger of a cover. Great condition. HBO Canon Video. Was so happy to have that. Then I grabbed this. I don't have the first movie, and I don't know anything about this. It's probably one of those, those trash movies you'd see at the VHS rental store, and you say, oh, I'm not getting that movie. But I was just like, hey, it's got a cool cover. It's kind of goofy looking. Maybe I don't have to watch the first one to enjoy this one. It's called Octopus 2 River of Fear. And, things from the ocean. Gross. Now, this is a movie I recently finally watched the first one of, and I was like, I gotta get the sequel. I gotta check this out. And that's Guyver 2 Dark Hero. Now, this is a more uncommon tape. I know that for sure. And I really did enjoy the first movie. Mark Hamill kind of was the reason I was like curious to check it out. And this was during, I want to say, when he was doing the body bag stuff with John Carpenter, because he had his little mustache and everything. And this definitely feels like, what's that one? Like Kamen Rider, stuff like that. But it's got that kind of like just violent tone, like ripping apart these monsters and stuff. And I really did enjoy the first movie. It has Michael Berryman, I believe that's his name, from The Hills Have Eyes. I mean, come on, if you don't know who that is based off of that, I don't know. We can't be friends. But yeah, fantastic movie. If you haven't seen The Guyver, I would very highly recommend it, especially if you like full moon movies. It kind of gave me that vibe of a full moon movie. I have part 1 and 2 on VHS, and now I have the first 3. So I have Psycho 3. Now, I gotta say, Psycho 1, classic. Psycho 2, ooh. One of those perfect examples of a sequel going above and beyond the first movie. Now, Psycho 3 gets a lot of hate. It's pretty sleazy. I feel like Norman Bates is a little out of character in this, but it's still a lot of fun. And Anthony Perkins directed it. So the dude himself was like, hey, let's just go crazy with this series. So you got to respect that. And then here's another one, another 3. I got Return of the Living Dead, Part 3. This one seems to be on the lower end for most people's favorites, but I really enjoyed this one. I watched it for the first time back in the day. Now I have Part 2 on VHS. I got that at a convention last year. I still don't have Part 1. I know that one's very expensive, but I got it on DVD, so I'm happy to just have the VHS. This is one I couldn't pass up, and that's Carnosaur. And it's still got the Blockbuster sticker on it. You got to respect Roger Corman. putting out this blatant Jurassic Park ripoff. And you gotta love these little blurbs on the front. It ain't no walk in the park. These dinosaurs have bite. Will chill you to the dinosaur bone. Okay, I'm done. Then I got this movie, which I think this is the second one. The Fear, Halloween Night. I always saw this, at least the first movie, and I was like, oh, what's this, like, Pinocchio-looking ripoff guy made of wood? I don't know. I've never seen them, but it looks interesting. So I was like, hey, why not? And I'm sure I can watch the first one on YouTube or something, or download it. I mean, buy it legally. I'm sure somebody's selling it, and I'm probably going to get a physical copy of part one. Now, another thing for collectors out there is, you know, it's really easy in this day and age to go on eBay or Facebook Marketplace or Mercari or, you know, anywhere where you can sell used goods and buy them, and just be like, hey, I want this movie. I'm gonna buy it. I don't care how much it is. And I'm guilty of that myself. But if you're a collector and you're trying to get the most bang for your buck, the best place you can check is Goodwill. Now, I know Goodwill is notorious for just being filled to the brim with Disney movies, but sometimes you get lucky. I actually found a copy of Saw at Goodwill, and I know that's a kind of uncommon tape to find nowadays. Because usually if you find a horror movie at Goodwill, you found like Halloween or Scream or something like that. Maybe one of the Aliens movies. And this is one, you know, I have the first movie. Yeah, I have the first movie. I don't have the second one. I got to get it. But I'm like, hey, we can knock out some of these little mini trilogies. And like I said, I know there's more than 3 of these movies, but I'm happy with just getting the first 3. And that's Tremors 3. It's been a while since I've seen this. I know Michael Gross is still in it. So at least there's that. And I only paid $1 for it. So anytime you can get a horror movie for $1, whether it's a DVD, a VHS, or God help you, a Laserdisc, that would be fantastic. You better snatch that shit up. Even if it's something you already have, it's a good idea to stockpile this stuff and say, hey, I've got some extra copies. Not for being a reseller. Only if you're going to make a fair deal, because I think that part of the horror community that needs help is the people that are just buying. They're going out and wiping out the selection of movies that we're looking for. People who grew up, people who love these movies. These are people that are just going and buying these movies because they say, hey, I'm going to make some extra money. And these people aren't true horror fans. Maybe some of them are, and maybe they've gotten a little blinded by, I'm going to make some money off these old movies. And I get it. The economy is shit. You got to make some money somehow, but come on. We're doing this because it's a hobby that we enjoy. We grew up on this. We love it. So I honestly would never scam a fellow horror collector. If I had, like, I have a copy of Hellraiser 1 and 2 on VHS. It's in this big box, like a double VHS. That was another one that I got for free from my friend, and I already have it. You know, I could go online and say, hey, I'll take $10 for this. But I'm not going to do that. Honestly, if I could trade that for a tape that I'm missing, or sell it to them for like, $2 because it's like 2 movies, that's $1 a movie, that's fair. I would rather do something like that and help somebody out who's like, hey, I don't have this version of Hellraiser. That's freaking awesome. And I go, yeah, you know, hey, you trade me Halloween 3 and it's yours. That Halloween 3 is like the only VHS I'm missing out of that franchise. I'll never get it. Anyways, but yeah, just go to Goodwill. Keep your eyes open. Sometimes I'll check the DVDs. It's rare that you find some stuff in there. I did find some cool stuff there one time. I found like It Follows. What was the other one I found? I can't remember off the top of my head, but It Follows was one that I hadn't owned. Oh, The Babadook. Those were movies that I hadn't owned, and I was like, you know what? Why not? They're like $2 or $3. Sure. And I ended up liking a because I hadn't seen The Babadook. I've seen It Follows. It's just been a while. But I ended up liking it a lot. So, take a shot. And lastly, this is one that I bought. It was full price, but I'd never seen this movie. And it's a Severin release. It's called Raiders of the Living Dead. It's got this cool hand-drawn art, and then you remove the slip, and you got this nice black Blu-ray case with this awesome, it looks like 70s art, but I think this is 85. So this movie came out in 85, but the artwork suggests that it was made maybe early 80s, because the 70s were kind of still bleeding into those early 80s movies. This is why I bought this, because this description is ridiculous. It's so damn weird that everyone should experience it. It manages to mix terrorists, zombies, a sociopathic kid who invents a death ray, the Three Stooges, and one of the most brilliant opening songs you've ever heard. What? Why have I never heard of this movie? And it's a zombie movie on top of that. So it kind of looks like a shot on Shitio type movie. That's the vibe I'm getting. But I love those types of movies. Video Violence, Wood Chipper Massacre, Microwave Massacre. There's just so many of those. What's Sledgehammer? That's another infamous one. I think that's like the first one. So yeah, I had to grab that. And I also got a David Lynch film. It's not technically a horror movie, but I've only seen Eraserhead and Elephant Man. I know. But I love both those movies. And I do have the Criterion of Eraserhead over there. Good film. Remember watching that in my cousin's basement, and I was just like, what? At the end of the movie. That's another one I really would love to own on VHS, but I've seen the prices. I think I'll wait. So yeah, those were my pickups. I'm always hunting for more horror movies, but obviously you're hunting on a budget. You got to think smart. You got to think S-smart. I'm sorry, I'm done. But yeah, the deals are out there. You just got to be patient. I know it's tempting to just run on eBay and say, ha ha, there goes my tax check. But hey, you can also go to conventions, because there's a lot of people that sell tapes there, and they'll sell them for fair prices. And plus you got your boutique vendors, and sometimes they'll do deals at these conventions where you can buy multiple movies for a pretty good deal, and it ends up being a little cheaper than what you pay online with the shipping and everything. So just a thought. I'm sure these are suggestions that most of you know, but someone might be watching that could use this information. And to that I say, you're welcome. No. But thanks for watching. Sorry to ramble on for so long, but had to share my new haul. I think I have an idea for another video in mind, but I wanted to get some input, because I noticed the last video about the Faces of Death being at Walmart got some comments. Had some people asking about checking out the channel. So thanks for adding the channel. Thanks for checking it out. To my new subscribers. I'm not trying to get in the thousands or anything, but hey, if we get to that point, I won't complain. That'd be cool. Get some ad revenue. Spend that on some more movies. I mean, we can only hope. But for my next video, I think what I want to do is I want to get some input on... here, I'll show you. Hold on. Come with me. Oh, unprecedented. I'm picking the camera up. So, around here, you can see I've got this Family Video movie rack. And it used to have all just VHS. But I've decided to put DVDs on this side. Now, right now, it's kind of cult hits, movies that I enjoy. You got your Eraserhead, Evil Speak. You got I Drink Your Blood, Ice Cream Man. But I'm kind of thinking, I want to do a theme for this. I was thinking like zombies. I was thinking 80s movies. I was thinking sequels. What are some ideas that you guys have? If you have a good idea for what I should change this into next, comment below. Let me know. Maybe I should do like directors on different shelves. I think that'd be a really fun thing. And if I get some good ideas, maybe I'll do it and share that in the next video or one of the videos coming. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.